Michael DiLeonardo, also known as Mikey Scars. The government says he's a high-ranking member of the Gambino crime family.
No Excuses with Michael DiLeonardo. I'm your host, RJ Roger. Michael, we are live on YouTube. It's been a while since we've been on YouTube.
Yeah, we owe it to you people out here. So let's see. We'll field any and all questions. We'll respond to whatever you want, as long as it's in the privacy of respect and dignity. I'm sure everybody will be fine here. We got a great group. So how you been, RJ?
Great. Everything's good, brother.
How you doing with your book? How's it going? We haven't updated them. How's it going with the book?
Good, but more people can go buy it if they want. 10 stores now, anywhere books are sold. Amazon, Target, Walmart, anywhere, any brick and mortar, Barnes and Noble, Books A Million. So go get my book if you guys haven't gotten it yet.
Yeah, very good read. Really good read. There's a whole bunch of them. Is that all your books over there on the stand?
Yeah, I got tons. Yeah, it's some behind me over there, some right there. So yeah, I have a lot of them.
Yeah, but if they want to sign, would you sign it for them if they got it from you?
Yeah, of course. I have done it a lot for people.
Oh, good. I see a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
So how much does it retail for? How's it going? How much does it go?
$30 online. But no, it's been dropped down though. It's like you can get them for like $20 now.
Oh,
$20 online.
That's cheap.
Yeah.
Cheap for a book.
Yeah.
But everything is great. Hope everybody's doing well out there. And looks like we're building up a little crowd here right now. So, yeah, we got a lot of people, a lot of new people that have been on YouTube, I say. Very nice. Okay. So let's go. I'm ready.
Let me see your that. So someone shipped you something. I want people to see it. I forget who the thing y'all just told you to go get.
This one?
Who made that again? What page? What YouTube? Someone on YouTube sent that to you.
Billy. This.
Oh, Billy. Look at that. How cool. Someone sent Michael a frame. Someone took a picture of Michael and a picture of John Gotti and put it together and then framed it and then sent it to Michael. So
yeah, it's pretty cool. It's amazing what this artificial intelligence is going to do. I think the key word is artificial. Fake everything.
Yeah, some of the stuff that people send to us. I told people I have like the original, like people sent us like all those old newspapers, like original newspapers and stuff. I still have them. I gotta ship them to you actually. So
I'm gonna see you next week.
Yeah. So I'll bring it down with me. Okay. So, but guys, thank you for being here. Drop your questions in the chat. Now, the easiest way to get your question answered is to put the word question in caps or something before your question, or put a series of question marks, just something that will help me more easily identify that you're asking the question. I don't read everything in the chat. I just kind of spot check. I'm a little, so the more you make your question look like a question, the more of a chance you have to get it answered. Some people won't get the question answered. I'm telling you now. There's too many people and too much stuff comes in. Some people won't get the question answered, but it's not personal. I promise.
Yes, and we want to add a little caveat. Please don't donate any money. There's not a money grab today or any other day. Don't do it. If you want to give something, give it to the show. Join Patreon. Join the Patreon family. It's $10 a month. And if you're already on Patreon, you want to donate. As everybody knows, we sponsor other people that can't afford it at this time with hard times going on, and we sponsor them. So don't give us money. Give it as a donation if you so choose. You don't have to. If you so choose, it will go to sponsorships. Thank you.
Yeah, no money needed. No super chats needed. Save your money. We're good. Okay, but thank you. But you can join us. Someone just put a Patreon, a super chat in. But you can join us on Patreon for $10, and we do 2 shows a week on Patreon. Join Patreon. Don't worry about sending us money. Who just sent me money? Let's see.
$5. Ryan Brown.
$5. Michael, when you were with Trevor McDonald in Little Italy driving around, who was the other Made Lucchese member with Jimmy Froggy?
Yeah, I really don't remember. Or I got to look at it again just to see. But see, this is one of the points that besides not being a money grab for RJ and I and Mikey, but this is one of the points because when you send money, all contact makers are obligated once you send money to answer their question before anybody else on the board. And we want to answer everybody's. We don't predicate answering the question on how much you give us. So just to clear that up, we appreciate it, Ryan. It will go to sponsor somebody, even yourself if you're not on Patreon. Email us and on mdnoexcuses@gmail, and we'll sponsor you. So that's one of the other reasons. We don't want to have somebody buy the rights to get a question answered. I don't think that's fair. I think it's despicable, to tell you the truth.
What's the name of the book? The Don 36 Rules of the Boss. Hang on.
Oh, you made him smile. Did you see that smile when he's running away?
Worked for 12 years on it. It's a great book. I worked really hard on it. The Don 36 Rules of the Bosses. So who asked me that question? Tom. Let's see here. Let's give. All right, Tom. I'm going to sign this live on air to you. Send me your email. Look at this. Live on air. To Tom. There you go, Tom. Email me. Email me your address, huh?
I got one better, Ajay. Right. I don't want to steal your thunder. I just make a suggestion.
You're going to sign it too?
Yeah, you can bring it to Florida, and we could joint venture signing the book and give it to him.
All right, Tom. Michael's going to sign it too. I'll take it to Florida. I might go see Michael this week, and he'll sign it, and we'll put it in the mail to you. But you have to email your address. I have so many books waiting here because people never sent me their address. Please email your address. mdnoexcuses@gmail.com.
Very nice. Right.
Thank you, Tom. All right. A lot of questions coming in here. So let's see.
I got one real quick that just popped up here. This is something that's been going around lately, I guess. I don't know you told me whose show it was. I forgot. Scott, did Willie Boy hate John Gotti? Only Willie Boy knows that. Whatever he said on that information that was gathered, I think from an FBI report, maybe at that moment he hated John. And maybe he really hated John all the time. We don't know. But we know what happened to Willie Boy.
All right. So I'm going to start with the people who sent the questions in first on YouTube because they put them in as early as yesterday. So I want to be fair to them. And then I'll just make my way through. I got a lot of questions that came through. Oh, my goodness, look at this. Let me just star them on.
Yes, okay. James determined. I did know Johnny Riccobone, the father and the nephew. Yes, very well. I knew a lot of Riccobones. They go back to sand in that life.
All right, here we go. First question of the show. There was good questions put in here yesterday. I was happy to see like really good, thoughtful questions. Question 1. Is there any way we can possibly have a sit down of Mikey Scars and Sammy Gravano? No animosity or negativity, but perhaps get to understandings. And what I seem to get is that they have some gaps of information from one to another. And if they talk, fill in those blanks versus assumptions, I believe we can put to rest the mysteries because they actually moved in the city before each other apparently had some baggage on the other. And what do you think, RJ? How about you guys in the chat? Of course, what do you think of? Okay. What do I think? I don't think that's going to happen. Michael, you give the answer.
You got to think about it.
I don't think
take the word think out. Never going to happen. And I appreciate you wanting to have information. That's what this is all about, getting correct information. The guy is in fantasy land. I'm not saying he wasn't a real person. I'm not saying he didn't do a lot of the things he says he did. He did. His motivation today is different than it was then. Before it was to protect people, to do all that stuff, to protect the family. We all know now what Sammy Grano is. He killed everybody for himself. That's it. The guy's a sick human being, and no sit down can ever happen cordially, analytically, between the two of us. He's a liar. He's no good. He's reprehensible as a human being. So, and this is not because I don't like him. It's the truth. Watch our videos. Watch his. We want people to watch his videos. You can see the gap. There is a gap, like you used. There is a gap in information and factuality. It don't exist in his world anymore.
Let's see. What would your argument be to a made guy in Sicily that says John Gotti was just an actor?
That he was just an actor?
An actor. Yeah, I'm not sure what he means by that. Maybe someone in Sicily must have.
Maybe not a good boss. I wouldn't argue with anybody in Sicily. That's number one. Not going to go well at any stage of life. But John was no actor. John was a real deal gangster. He made a ton of mistakes. Did a lot of great things, but he made some very serious, grave mistakes.
Did you have any dealings with the Philadelphia family, and would you say their entire family had the equivalent membership to one captain's crew in New York?
No, me personally, I never had any dealings with them. But one time when Angelo Bruno was alive, super respected family throughout the country. And things, as we know, the demise of Angelo Bruno was a huge mistake, killing that guy, because it just destroyed that whole family up until today. A lot of good guys died. A lot of good guys died in prison. So a terrible thing. As far as their number capacity, I really don't know. I really don't know what their number capacity is. I really never knew what their number capacity is. So if I said anything, I'd be speaking disingenuously, if that's a word.
What type of cars did wise guys drive in the 90s and 2000s?
Well, I'll tell you, years ago in my neighborhood, Joe Colombo had Baron Buick. So they were usually Caddies and Buicks that guys drove. So most of the other guys, Lincolns. But at that time in the 70s, it was Buicks and Cadillacs and Lincolns mixed in. But in the 90s, everybody let loose a little bit, like including myself. I had Benzes throughout.
Let's see here. How accurate was The Soprano in terms of fashion, dynamic, and scenarios? And did you have any direct dealing with the Jersey capos or bosses?
Yeah, I did. I know a lot of the guys in Jersey. A lot of them were really good guys. Very good guys. Still till today, they still have a good nucleus of men out there. And the way they run their families is really true Cosa Nostra, because they go back very, very long time to the seeds in this country when it first started in New York. And of course, exported from Sicily. But the Sopranos, I really didn't watch The Sopranos, maybe 6 episodes, because I've been asked this multiple times. I really can't give an opinion on it.
I can't neither, because I never watched it neither. I tried to watch the first episode and I couldn't even finish the first one, but maybe one day I want to try to sit down and watch it, but I've never watched it either. Do you think a golden era would ever come around again? You pretty much lived through the last one. Yeah.
Well, golden era, I don't think, let's see, through the mid-'80s on, there was a golden era. Definitely not my tenure in the 90s. It was a rusty era, not a golden era. trying to lick wounds from all the bad things that happened from all those guys like Gaspipe, Massino, John, Gravano, et al. And that family and those families.
You forgot your favorite one to say.
Joe Massino?
That's an add-on to it's 3 that everyone knows that you've popularized.
Yes, Nicky Scarfo.
Nicky Scarfo.
Yeah, that was the demise of a lot of principled guys in that life. These guys acted irrationally, in my opinion. They killed a lot of good men in the life, not in society. I thought we'd be clear. We were a bad organization. But in that life, there was a lot of good people that made that life sustained. Some bad people that did bad things in that life perished. But for the most part, a lot of good guys were killed. Like I said, from Angelo Bruno all the way to guys in New York that were getting banged out by lunatics. So before that, you're going to go to the 60s and the 50s and the 40s. Those were the golden age.
Absolutely.
That was shiny. It was platinum. Well, I don't know. I think gold's more than platinum today. So we'll go with golden age. Yes.
You know, people think it's the golden age because it's the first age we got to watch. It was so public in that point. It wasn't so all over the media, all over the tabloids, all over everything, front page news in the 40s and 50s. And it was quiet. You could be known, money, lot of money. You were a celebrity in your own neighborhood, but not so much. See, John was not just a celebrity in his neighborhood like a lot of the old time mob guys were. He was a national celebrity. Yeah. So makes things harder. It makes it harder when you're breaking the law in front of the law and the cameras. So
I got one here. Mikey, is it nonsense that you're always facing 10 years? Look, yeah, you got it. When you get arrested in the feds, it's not the state. The state's like New York has 25 to life. You can get other sentences, but I think the most you get in the state is 25 to life in New York. When you get convicted of murder, conspiracy to murder, with a racketeering case, it's life. It's automatic. It's a life sentence. You can make a deal for 10 years. You can make a deal for 20 years. Those are deals. But if you go to trial and get convicted, it's natural life. There's no parole board. There's no coming home. So this whole thing about 10 years, 3 years, a day and a half, I flipped because there was 2 weeks in the Bahamas they offered me. I didn't want it because they wouldn't give me good sandals or whatever. It's all, they're making it up. I never asked for a deal. There was never a deal on the table. It just happened the way it happened. That's a whole other story. But there was never offered a deal, and there's no cap on 10 years for murder. If there was a cap on 10 years for murder, how many people would be dead? It'd be like the purge with a 10-year cap.
Let's see. When you first took the oath, did you believe it was forever, or did part of you know there would be an end?
No, it's definitely forever. Great question. Great question. Yeah, definitely forever. For me.
I know this is a personal question, so I apologize for asking. At the time you turned, you had regret, which hurt more. At the time that you turned, which hurt more, betraying your brothers or the heritage?
Well, it's both, because that is part of your legend, your legacy that you have and built and your family had. So when you do that, you're just throwing it all away. Your street creds, everything you ever built. Look, I try to build a legacy. I worked my whole life on building a legacy, to carry a legacy. And when I disappointed myself by flipping at that time, it was very heavy, very heavy.
Who ordered the hit on Angelo Bruno? Was it Chin?
Well, I don't know for sure. There are people that knew. Maybe they're not alive anymore. But supposedly went through Funzie, and from Brooklyn, who was like an acting boss, a front boss, and that's what the story is. I never heard anything direct from anybody about it.
see. What stories that the old timers have about guys like Anastasia and Gambino from back in the day?
Oof. There was a lot of stories that came out about Albert that I heard as a young man being around the club. He put fear in everybody's heart. I could go for a couple espresso if they're around anyway. But no, the old timers that were straightened out before Albert got killed, they were afraid, especially the Sicilians. He was banging them out.
What were the different cultures of each family like? Things they did, perhaps things they specialized in. For example, would a Gambino recognize a Bonanno by the things they did or said, or even the work that they did?
Yeah, those coffee clutch conversations. When you're talking about a guy or a guy's name comes up, or you have an appointment with somebody you didn't really know. You try to get a little background before you sit down. What kind of guy is he? How's his attitude? Is he a amenable guy? Is he a nasty guy? Does he lie? That's one of the big ones. Is he going to lie to you? Is he in the junk business? Yeah, that guy's in the junk business. Watch when you go there. Maybe you get a little heat. Those type of things. Guy's stockbroker. Guy's big in construction. You usually know people's backgrounds, but if they just say a guy from the Bronx that you never met, which I met later on. I met some guys from the Bronx that bookmakers, etc. So you get a little background, like Rudy Santabello. His claim to fame at that time was he banged out a cop. So that circles around. Yeah, Rudy's a tough guy. He banged out a cop. Or you go meet a guy. He's a big numbers guy, one of the biggest numbers guy in the city. So you get a little background. Yeah, there's that coffee clutch talk. Sure.
What are your thoughts on Frank Gioia?
I think he's got some great stories to tell. He's got a great lineage. He grew up in Manhattan, and he could put a lot of light on things that other guys can't. He's a younger guy than me, of course. I think I probably got him by 20 years. But he knows his stuff. I watched some of his shows. They're pretty good. And like I said, I like what he's doing. I like the way his format is. He's not an abusive guy on here. He's just telling the stories and believe it for what it is or not. That's all. That's up to the audience.
Take it from, I've been here 4 years, so I think I get some stake in the game with analyzing different channels. Gioia is one of the channels that's doing it right. He's just making content, having discussions, and consistent. He's not attacking people. He's building a channel the right way. Those kind of channels last. Those attack channels, they're burnout channels. They go and they right back down because when you build yourself up on just negativity, you burn people out. Even a negative person gets tired of being brought down, so they usually will go away. You sustain your audience more when you have feel good content.
Yeah,
feel good content, things that make you feel good.
Not 100%. And all that animosity with everybody screaming and cursing and do all that stuff, it wears after a while. That's just my opinion. And Frankie, as we know, was going to try and follow our format, and that's a high compliment. But yeah. Frankie gives insight into guys from that area, Rafi Como, Joe Beck. I mean, there's a list of names. Mawat. There's a list of names that people really don't talk about. So if you're interested in some of those guys, the Lower Manhattan guys, he's a good channel to go to.
Yeah, he's doing a great job. Yeah. Why was it so easy to infiltrate the Italians?
Greed. That's it. Greed. Get comfortable.
Let's see. I'm still dying to know why Gravano has something good to say about pretty much every guy he killed, but nothing but bad to say about Eddie Garofalo, who he left alive.
Well, it was his brother-in-law, that's for sure. So, thank you. It was his brother-in-law, and if he really wasn't married to his sister, not that it wouldn't have happened in time. You keep Sammy around long enough, he might have banged him out too. He might have banged out another brother-in-law. So Sammy's a very reactive guy, and most of his reaction was extremely violent, as history shows. And I don't have to tell you about Gambino. He tells you about himself all the time. 19. I think he just wanted to cross the other digit. He wishes he would have crossed the digit. That's some more names on there. But Eddie Garofalo was a genius in the construction business. Believe me, he was close to making an X for his name. He didn't have no real school education, but a brilliant, very witty man, knew the life. He did know the life. And the construction business was a whiz. He had his faults, which I'll do a show on Eddie one day. I've been holding back on it because I liked Eddie and then I didn't like Eddie. So, and he has family out there still, so then I respect that. But I will tell you some deep facts about Eddie when we get there. Sammy's right about a lot of things about Eddie, but then wrong about Eddie on certain things. Eddie stood up. I'll give you one thing. I got Eddie. I was responsible for Eddie when Sammy flipped. He showed up at every meeting thinking he may get clipped. The guy acted like a man at that time. Matter of fact, he even told me and other guys that a couple of times he thought he was getting killed that day at different meetings. And he was on the hit parade to get killed. It was stopped. So after good things, like I said, and bad things to say about Eddie down the road. Delicious.
What was John Sr.'s favorite card game?
Well, in my tenure with John, they played a lot of Continental. He played once a week, every week, unless something came up. But every week, he played Continental. They would switch the clubs from Ali Shades' club, West Side guy, Sonny Saccone, his skipper with us, Jimmy Brown's club, his club. So they circulate. I think it was like 4 or 5 guys. They circulated the game once a week. He loved to play. John loved the camaraderie of the game, of being around everybody. John just loved, that was his element. John shined there in that element. The gambler playing the cards was just part of him, just part of being there.
If you were still in the life, would you have brought Junior into life if he wanted to join?
Never. And not just because I'm sitting in this chair here right now. Never. The circle would have ended there. That would have broke the circle, broke the chain right there.
Isn't there like some of those stories like where a father just recognized his son was just a street attitude, had a rough attitude, and he felt like was just always in trouble in the streets, and the father brought him in to keep him safe? You ever heard those kind of stories? Like, say it was a situation. Yeah. I mean, how does it work? Maybe you can. I know the answer, but I want to ask for the audience. Say your son made that choice and he wanted. Can you stop it?
Oh, definitely. I could stop it. He's got no control over his life. I do. In any direction he goes. But just to expand on that, going back in time, how this thing was formulated and how solid it was through family. You wanted your kids involved. It was strength. It kept the silence. It kept the secrets. It kept the bonds. Like when you made somebody gumbara, right? You're best man at a wedding, baptize a child, those type of things. They became your family. They really meant something years ago. They became your family. So you wanted that. Now, later on, when you get to the United States, it started to get watered down because there were people that were not involved that they brought in. And some of them were good decisions, some of them were bad decisions. But to bring your kid in, it's very hard because you know what you're doing. You're going to send him to jail sooner or later. His mom's going to cry. His mom's going to be mad at you for bringing their child in. Not that you really predicate your life as a wise guy, but worried about what your wife says. But you got to know you're setting them up for failure. He's really, and I'm talking about the later days. The earlier days, it was part of what it was, the fabric of the community in Sicily. Started out as a good thing. Then it turned into just a machine. But, it's to me, it's a bad thing. Set up your son in the business, kick him in the ass if he's acting too wild in the street, and put him in another direction.
Now, this is one of the great all-time discussions, and I talk about it in my book, and I like the theory behind it. If the life was good enough for you, then why not your son? Sal Alvalino and Tony Ducks had that convo in the wiretap, and he said, if I was a lawyer or a doctor, we would want our sons to be lawyer and doctor. So what we're really saying is this life is fucking bullshit. It's for the birds.
When you're a lawyer, the most that could happen is you get disbarred, right? And if you're a doctor, you get a malpractice suit against you. The insurance pays up. In the mob, if you fuck up, you're getting your son killed. I don't know. There's no comparison.
But if you believe in it, though, that's what they're saying. We believe in this life. This life is a great life. This is a brotherhood, an honored society. This is where there's no better life.
Okay, your son becomes a doctor just like you, and you have a nice building together, and he does something wrong, and he gets a malpractice suit. Tomorrow, be in court, make a settlement, it's over. Your son makes a mistake in their life, somebody's got to shoot him in the head. Which one is? You don't equate. So to say it's good enough for you, the penalties that go along with bringing them in because you're in the life doesn't make it the right answer. For me, that's my opinion. I'm not gonna. I know there's negatives that are going to come out of here. I know if I'm not around, he may get hurt. Because your father was Al Capone doesn't mean the son is going to be respected and get away with everything his whole life. Sons have been clipped. Fathers have been clipped because the sons were clipped in this life. So look at Jimmy Ippolito and his son. They got banged out the same night. And we could go through history with brothers and fathers and sons. So the punishment to say, I want to bring my son in because, hey, I'm in the life, let's have some fun, don't work that way. Today's a different thing. Then nobody's killing anybody. Maybe a little bit different. He's going to wind up with a prison sentence, maybe. But in the past, watch out.
RJ knows how to write.
Yeah.
Yeah. Check out my book. I can write.
And he can talk.
I don't even know, but I'm what I'm not that good at is being a podcaster. I was never a podcaster, never aspired to be a podcaster, was never into media, never planned on doing this. I was a writer. My publisher forced me into this. They did it.
There you go, blaming somebody else for your good fortune.
Let's change the show name to Some Excuses.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I like that. Hey,
brother, you're having a drink. You're not gonna. Let's have a drink together.
Yeah, right here. Here's the drink. Coffee. Right
no, I don't have no coffee here.
Anyway, that's not my problem. Go get some. Go get a cat.
One,
go get a big cat to get it.
We just came up with that thing where we tap the screen, get a real tiny, like a thimble, just a thimble.
All right, let's get some more questions in. Then we
only if you agree to a drink, and you can't say no because I control the chat.
All right, later on.
We have an agreement?
Yeah, we'll dive when we get in deeper.
Okay, sounds good. Do you believe Sammy's story about Roy DeMeo wanting to kill the old people in the restaurant?
We're not going to get real close. He's a sick person. Don't believe that. It's a lie. It's a lie. The guy's making it up. He's better than Walt Disney, John Grisham, Stanley Kubrick. He's better than all these guys. What's that guy who writes that book from New England? What the hell? Stephen King. He's better than all these guys. He's Gollum. What's that guy? Gollum? What do you call that thing? What's that book? Lord of the Rings? I don't know. The guy, the Gollum there. We should put his picture.
Yeah, I know.
Somebody over there, correct me. Yeah, these don't believe him. Yeah, he's going to kill Joe Gatto dressed as a rabbi. Another thing, another lie. Don't believe this guy. He's a liar.
James, he says, any chance of releasing more Ravenite tapes on YouTube? If you don't have the money, we'll sign you up for free. That's what I keep telling people. Anybody can join Patreon, even if you don't have the money. We will sign you up. We will sponsor your membership. All you have to do is email the show. We've never used any donation money. We use the money that people give to us to put back into the show. So people that can't pay, we've had people that have had every month paid.
Schmiegel, that's it. What is it?
Reach out and we'll sign you up, James. MD, no excuses at gmail.com. We'll sign you up. There's 16 parts. We read every single word that was used against Gotti, or all the transcripts that was said above the Ravenite. Every word.
Saddlebomb says we have an infiltrator. Schmiegel, thank you. That's what it is. Yeah, he's just making it up now. He ran out of stuff to say.
Let's see here. All right.
And also, look, we will, like RJ articulated, we'll sponsor anybody. Just don't take advantage of it, because there's a lot of people that really do need it. So
that's kind of what, and you know what I can say? I think in all of our time on Patreon, I think we had one person do something a little, but most people will say, hey, can you help me out for this month? And then the next month they're on their own. They might come back in 4 months and say, hey, can you help me out for this month? But there really hasn't been anybody who was, standing in the bread line, taking all the bread. Never. Everybody's been pretty fair, I would say. And then there's people who might have 3 months sponsored, and they'll come back and say, thank you so much. Here's the money back to help somebody else. So people have been very fair.
It just happened the other day. Yeah. We sponsored 1 month, he gave 2. So that's what it's about. This is about information sharing. People like that they have a real interest in this, and we're going to supply as much as we can with a little humor, with a little facts, and trying to bring people together here where you can share this stuff yourself.
If you were to go back in time, why didn't you get right next to Junior and be the underboss? You were kind of the underboss.
No, I want no position like that. They keep the administration stuff. In a perfect world of going back in time with the right people, how could you not want to take it? I'd be lying if I said no. But when you see the players, and maybe there's going to be really bad outcomes, and I'm happy where I am. I'm doing really good. Why would I want to jump in just for a title? Well, the people you're going to be speaking with and dealing with and administrating with, which is the biggest thing, administrating with, could be a disaster. Why? Let them make all the mistakes, and I'm just going to stay over here and enjoy my life. Why wouldn't I? I don't need a title. I'm comfortable in my skin, always have been. I don't need a title.
And do you want to, in case, because there's a lot of new people on here, I'm asking this question for you guys. Was Junior Gotti ever the official named acting boss of the Gambino family?
No, he was never acting boss. He was supposed to stay behind in a 5-man panel, him being the 5th, stay behind, report to his father when he was in New York. And after his father was gone, when he lost the case, that he would make decisions from the back. And there was never an acting position for John Jr. Was he the boss of the family? Absolutely. But there was never a title attached.
Let's see here. I think I got most of the good thing.
Vinny, you're right. Sammy was a force. Vinny Suits, I'll throw that one out. Hey, listen, I'm not diminishing what Sammy was at all. I never have. He was a force. Just that as time went on, you see his reasons, what this guy was really about. The guy was an evil soul. I don't even know if he had a soul, but he's really evil. Everything he did was for himself and vengeance. The guy's sadistic. Listen to his stories. And you know what? His sadism was by directing other people and him watching this. He's a liar. He killed Alan Kaiser. And he killed Joe Colucci, excuse me. This is how nice a guy he is. And this is how despicable. Put his brother-in-law on the side for a minute, right? Jack Colucci's father was murdered by Gravano's hand, the first guy he ever killed. admittedly. He had the mitigated gall to take this kid and groom him, his son, and have him around him every day, knowing he shot his father in the head. He couldn't let this kid go out and earn a living. He had to groom him, take him with him, knowing he shot him in the head. How do you look at that guy's face, that kid's face every day? Because he was a kid at one time, once everyone around. That's how evil this guy is. I mean, you know, if you're not there, if you don't see it, if it doesn't touch your family or your friends, you don't get it. It's not a knock on anybody out there. It's like watching a movie when you watch Sammy. He's great at what he does. But this is real life. This is what this guy does. He chopped up his brother-in-law, went home every night and had dinner with the in-laws and his wife and blamed everybody else. I couldn't do nothing. No, poor Sammy couldn't do nothing. The same thing with Colucci and Louis Melito. Hey, princess, I'm going to find your father, Princess Louis Melito, his daughter. It's a hard thing for me to keep talking about this guy because I get infuriated just thinking about it because I was part of that throughout his life, Sammy, and his rise in that family. 10 years as junior, but I was there into when he was on the boss. So I really take it personal with him because of the people that he abused when he got on YouTube. If he would have shut his mouth and went away, we wouldn't be having a discussion. And I wouldn't even know RJ because I never would be here. He brought me here with his lies. So let's go. No more Gravano. I was in a good mood.
Just for the devil advocate perspective, because some of the opposite opinion, how would you respond to, like, is the thing with Sammy, is it just because you knew him since you were 8 and it was just more personal, or is it a contradictory from what even mob life is? So say the mob's full of murderers and killers and people that have killed and backstabbed. Is there a difference of him in relation to the mafia, or is it just because he's a guy you knew your whole life and looked up to and admired?
All of the above. But you know what gets me? That one of the things that get me. There's a lot of things that get me. Like any other guy that flipped. Gaspipe and Joe Massino. Again, we'll keep going. The guys that flipped, that were responsible for so many lives, all those guys that died and their family were killed by a rat. There was no, if you want to attach honor or obligation or Cosa Nostra, like he said, he's not Cosa Nostra, he never was. It was Cosa Mia with him. All those people's lives were a complete waste because he ratted. He went out and took people's lives just like Gaspipe to cover up a lot of things because you're worried about guys flipping on you. Like the badge drug addict. He's a liability, let's kill him. But he just baptized his daughter. Eddie Garofalo just baptized, you kill him a year later, whatever it was. Louis Melito, Princess, you got to kill him. Well, Louis was a threat. Threat to who? Well, Louis wasn't killed nobody. I was with Louis all the time. No threat. And Louis never wanted to be anything. He wanted to listen, to take orders. But when the turn was, when Louis, after they killed Paul, and Sammy was given the skippership to somebody else there was a new kid on the block. I'm not taking nothing away from Big Louis. But Louis Melito put the work and the time in. He deserved that position. So a lot goes into it. Just that this guy killed as many people as he can to cover his ass for the years. And that's what gets me. Then talks bad about them. Again, what I come in on here for is what he did after the fact, talking about everybody. Joy Faraci, I see a name in here. He had the nerve to say multiple times when he first started, he apologized to Joy and spoke to her. It's a lie. He lies about everything. So if we're not here to call him out, nobody's ever called him out. We're calling him out. I'll keep calling him out. Just he's been a little quiet lately. I think he knows that the tide's coming in. So come on, no more Scarfo.
If you could do it all over again, do you think you would do it all over again? Not asking if you would do things differently, but would you join the mob again back in the day?
If I go back in the day, when I speak, and RJ can attest to this, and most of the Patriot Asia family, when I speak, I put myself back in those days as I would be sitting there answering these questions. Hindsight, you could answer everything a lot differently in my position today. I could say that everybody in life was bad, everybody was this, life is no good. And I could go on and on how bad everybody was and everything was. Not the case. I had great times there. I made great friendships there. I can't condemn everybody there. I have to put myself back when I answer a question in that time period. If you put me back in the time machine and didn't know I'd be sitting in this chair today, of course I would want. I loved the life. Loved it. Knew the pitfalls, knew the problems that would happen, that could happen to you, jail or get killed, or asked to kill people. I knew all of it going in. I wasn't blind. I wasn't like this. I didn't read comments.
But what about not putting yourself back? Just taking all the information that you've received now, because now you have a full picture. When you're in the life, you don't have a full picture. That's what I was telling Jack when we had him on. When you were in the life, you were very subjective. You didn't see the life turn on you yet. So, but you get more information as we grow. Now that you have everything, the ins, the outs, the ups, the downs, the goods, the bads. From today, is it worth it? Is it worth going into what you? So you know what?
Because a lot of people have been hurt by me. I can't say yes, I'm going to do it again and hurt everybody. A lot of people have been hurt by me for my cooperation. That still bothers me. I'm not a cop. I was in that life. I was a street kid since I fell out of my mother. I was in the street my whole life. So the cooperation is the bad part. I can't say, yeah, I'm going to go back in that time. It's a good life, and then I'm going to cooperate and do what Gravano does, laugh at everybody and take everybody's money today. No, I can't do that. So I would say, I guess I would have to say no, because I wouldn't want to make people go through that pain again. Because if I'm going to go back, I'm going to have to relive it, and those people are going to have to relive it. Why would I want anybody to relive pain?
Yeah. You had 2 years in college, right? You could have just did 2 more. You could have been like went to the baseball. You could have been like a baseball player, and you could have been you were a psychology major, right?
Not a major. I took psychology.
Oh, but were you just a gen ed person? You didn't take no real major yet?
Yeah, no. Recreation leadership was my major. Seriously.
Yeah, so you could be like running you could replace Cash Bomb.
Yeah, I could right now.
You could be a leader. Yeah, you could be in leadership somewhere. Michael, did you ever meet Big Ernie from the West Side?
No, through emissaries with construction years ago, but I never met him. No.
You respond how you want. The life is a big lie.
Yeah, there's a lot of hypocrisies, double standards. The drug thing was a very, very bad thing that they did. Killing guys for dealing drugs, and then rewarding guys for dealing drugs. Very, very bad.
What people will realize, and I'm only 40, but if you ask me, what we learn the longer we're in life is everything's a big lie. What's real is usually the things we're overlooking. It's like your friendships, your kids, your wife, your family, the simple things in life, or actually the real things. But we overlook everything that we miss the most when they're taken away from us. Everything's a lie, is my opinion. Like, it ain't just the life, it ain't just the mob. It's the job that you're working at if you're a fucking bus driver. It's the aspirations you have just to get rich. When you get rich, you find out. One of the great quotes I heard, Michael, recently was from Jim Carrey. He said, I wish that God would make everybody rich and make everybody's dreams come true, just so they can see that it's not going to make them happy. And now you can go on with the rest of your life. But he wishes that everybody got that early on. Like, it ain't going to make you happy. So now you can just go on and try to figure out, how do you find happiness in life?
Well, it's true. Excess, you could get excess. And then once you have everything, you don't want it no more. It's like having a guy or a girl you chase for a lot of years, let's say, right? And you finally went out with them. And next thing you know is, hey, do I really want this? It's like a lot of other things.
Did you ever work with any Chicago outfit guys?
No, Eric.
Let's see. Have you ever been to Baltimore?
No, but we had family there going way back. Not only the Gambino family, we had a crew there, but my family. My grandfather had relatives there going way back.
What would be your advice to guys recently released from prison after serving long sentences?
Bounce their grandchildren off their knee. Go enjoy life.
I'm glad you said that. That's the truth. Is it strange to you when guys come out after 20, 15, 10 years, even to me, 1 year, 5 years, and they go right back to business as usual? Like, let me get, and I don't at all mean this disparaging, but is it surprising when like a guy like Sonny Franzese through all those decades and he just come right back out and go to work? Like,
what was that?
A guy like Sonny Franzese will do 30 years, 40 years and comes right back and goes right in. Is that a shock, or is that like, no, I get it. I understand how that mindset is.
I get it.
You do? Okay.
How about the guys that walked an electric chair? You get it then? Serious guys.
Did you agree that Junior took over the family, and if not, who you think should have? Like, okay, did you agree that Junior being boss essentially, and was there somebody better that could have done it? I think is what he means.
Well, yeah. Well, a couple of good points there. Junior should have stayed more in the background. The Bobby Borriello thing, murder, brought him really out front, which his father did not want him out front and was annoyed he kept that appointment with the West Side. He should have stayed in the back and surrounded himself with old timers and put them up front. And I mean real old timers. Joe Corey's of the world, guys like that, and got their tutelage. That I was offered by a couple of guys myself to sit down with Junior and just give him a little history and everything else. And John got a little too comfortable there. Junior, he was trying. He really, this is not a knock on him. He really was trying. But there was a different way to go about it. He should have surrounded himself with some more old timers and made a little different moves. In time, he would have been a good boss. In time.
Do you think, like, I want to try to put you in his mindset a little. Say it wasn't Borriello. It was, you were asked to stay in the back and Paulie Zach gets killed by somebody in the West Side. You think you're doing the same thing if Paulie Zach, are you coming out front and it's a whole, because like, it's just intellectual.
You don't have to go. I get what you don't have to go to the sit down. First of all, his father's the boss. His father told him not to do something. You don't do it. You'll go by. I understand you stick your chest out. You go there. You want to be sitting down directly across from the guys that may have, and they were wrong. We were wrong. It was not Preston that killed Bobby. It was wrong. They know they knew it wasn't. The West Side knew it wasn't Preston. That's why they never killed him. So no, you have to listen. That's Cosa Nostra. That's what you sit in the background. That's what it's all about. You're showing your hand. You're putting your emotion on your sleeve. There's so many tongue-in-cheek things I could say. You have to sit in the background. You play the fox. You put the people out front. You delegate. You administrate from the back, no matter how personal it is. If you find out it was somebody and you want to go bang them out, yeah, put a mask on. Go do it. I get it. For revenge. But to sit up front and expose yourself where his father did not want to expose himself was the wrong thing. I get the bravado. I get it. But it's the wrong thing to do.
Who did he have, though? The panel was Jimmy Brown, who was really turning on the family with the West Side. It's the suspicion. Big Louie was just a holdover. I mean, he was like the Sammy guy that people probably didn't really trust that much at the time. Jackie knows.
This is before Sammy flipped. Don't forget. When Sammy flips, Louie comes off the panel.
Okay.
Bobby gets killed April 13th of 91. So it's 5 years to the day of Frankie DeChico. Sammy was still, they were in MCC together, but he's still in good standing there. So you had Jimmy, you had Jackie, you had Pete, and Big Louie and Junior. You have 5 guys.
Yeah. Just wondering, like, who, all of them I don't know. Jimmy Brown, like, maybe, but, he didn't even like Senior, really. He was playing a traitor at the time.
Yep.
So, really, I don't know who. I can just see why your mind can think, I gotta step up here and do this because who else is gonna do it? And I can just see it, but you know it better than me. But when I think about the players, I can see, and then your best friend gets killed in front of his kids. It evokes a lot of emotion inside of you. When you Monday morning quarterback it, you say, man, maybe I shouldn't have, but in the moment, you're like, fuck this. You killed my best friend in front of his children.
Yeah, but they didn't do it. He was going to adjudicate a beef that was decided a long time ago. If Bobby Borriello got killed, Preston was going to die. That was agreed to by the West Side. He could just send a message like John sent a message and tell Jackie or whoever else went there, Big Louie, Jimmy Brown, whoever he sent there, it's Uncle Pete, he's got to go. This is our agreement. You don't have to be there. You got to learn. That's the life, is to sit back, not be. This is not the charge of the Light Brigade into the Valley of Death Road, the 600. It don't work that way.
We already answered that question. Let's see here. The life is glamorous only from the rose-tinted glasses of the associate. Once inducted, you learn it's all lies and backstabbing.
That's true. Paulie Zach, one of the things he told me, he said, Michael, once you get your finger pinched, see that guy, you think he's a nice guy, you're going to see something different out of him. See that guy, you think he's standoffish, he may be the good guy. Once you get in, you see people differently. You really do. Stunning.
Was Nicky Scarfo? Good afternoon, gentlemen. Was Nicky Scarfo as serious and notorious as they made him out to be?
And then some.
My favorite line in the discussion in the Mafia Prince book is when, Phil Leonetti says that he was talking to Nicky before, and he said, listen, everybody knows the only thing that matters is what the guys in New York say. Like saying, I can do what we do in Philadelphia is going to be decided by what's going on and what the people in New York tell us to do. That's how strong New York was at the time.
Well, it's commission.
Yeah.
It was commission stuff there. Let me see. There was a question about Joe Watts. Joe Watts was a lot of fun to be around. No question. Biggest sport I ever seen in my life was Joe Watts. I repeat this. I never had a check when I was around since the 70s, mid-70s, whenever I seen Gioia. And only me, a lot of other people. He would tip the DJ in Regine's 2000 because John liked the song. There's a super chat in there. What's this? $9.99. Yeah. We can't even give it back to him, huh? There's $10.
No. I have no way to.
Guys,
you don't have to donate any money. Thank you. We do appreciate it, but you don't have to donate any money. We're not asking for any super chats or nothing. We want to just answer as many questions as possible. If you want to donate money, save your money, just join us on Patreon. So you'll get, yeah. What was your involvement as a kid with the Spanish and black gangs in the 70s? Any fist fights, etc.?
We fought all the time with our own Italians. We practiced on ourselves. We had some bad gag fights years ago. As far as, I'm going to say, like, I was in junior high school when the riots started there. Yeah, sure. With the junior high school and high schools, yeah, we fought with the blacks. Not too much the Spanish. A lot of those people did not want to be busting into our areas. They did not want it. It was one of the worst things ever done as far as trying to force feed something at a bad time in history. It wasn't the right time to do that. Integrate. That was political mistake. That's a whole other subject. But yeah, there was a lot of animal, but you didn't go out of the way to go find anybody of a different color. Just that if you're in our neighborhood, that protected your neighbor. Your color wasn't welcome in our neighborhood. That's it. That may sound cold in today's times, 2025, but that's the way it was. That's just reality. And Gravano could talk about liking blacks and liking Spanish and liking Martians and sea creatures. He's a liar. He was a racist, just like everybody else in my neighborhood, for the most part, in the 60s.
Were you guys aware of what was happening in Sicily with Toto Rina and the Colonisis during the 1980s Mafia wars? The Sicilians were extremely brutal. Did you hear stories?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. That was worldwide news. But in our circle of life at that time, absolutely. It was talked about a lot, especially there was a lot of bombings, a lot of people would dissolved in acid, and horrific the way people were dying and how many were dying. I would say upwards near 1,000 people died, and that was when it maybe started in 1980-ish, if I'm on point, for about 4 or 5 years. I would say about 1,000 guys died.
Can we get Joe Watts or Carneglia on the mic? Would be amazing to hear their stories while they are still around, or are they still committed to the life and will they never speak publicly?
No, that's never going to happen. Never, ever, ever, ever going to happen.
The right amount of money, we can get Joe Watts on here.
Nah,
that's my opinion.
He can't spend. He's got a lot of money.
Yeah, we need a big number. But like we just talked about this, Michael, on Patreon.
We did.
The famous line from Wall Street: "What is your number? How much money is enough for you?" And the answer is more. More is my number. There is never enough for certain people.
Nah, he's 80, 81 or whatever he is right now. He don't need it.
More. I need more. It's just about being competitive. Let's see here. Honest opinion. Do you think Joe Watts went bad?
I got to take the fifth on this right now.
Should I take the fifth? Because I'm your partner? Okay.
No, you got an opinion. You're a civilian. Go ahead.
I can share my opinion?
Yeah, absolutely. And listen, it's not predicated on anything we talked about.
No, it really isn't. I've never, I don't know how, and again, just my suspicion. John, Sammy, Tommy Gambino, Joe Watts, forget about Tommy Gambino, but let's just say the administration. The only other person who was around that administration every day was Jackie Nose and Joe Watts. Now, Jackie he was a driver essentially. John was upstairs calling him a cripple and all these things. Jackie wasn't really in anything to come get Jackie. Joe Watts, how was he not picked up as the fifth guy when they came and got him with Tommy Gambino and Sammy, John, and Frank Locascio? Where was Joe Watts' handcuffs at? Why wasn't he picked up?
They'd have no evidence.
Why wasn't he up there talking in those meetings in the Raven night?
Yeah, laryngitis.
Why would John's top guy not be up in that meeting talking about different things?
He was camera shy.
There we go. See, we figured it out. Joe Watts was not in that upstairs. Even the guy from New Jersey was there. Who was the New Jersey guy who was up in that Raven night?
Johnny D'Amato?
It was one of the, I don't remember. He was up there as part of the Gotti tapes we went over. We read some of that stuff. But why isn't Joe Watts in no meeting upstairs? Just saying.
Well, he told me himself he was never up there.
He told you also he's crazy for talking up there.
Yes, he did. See,
Freudian slip? Was that a Freudian slip?
Nah, he knew better. He learned the lessons of Paul Castellano, talking in his house.
Okay. That's the same reason he pulled up for a meeting with you and Junior in a stretch limousine in Bensonhurst.
Very smart man.
Smart man. He wanted the whole neighborhood to know. What the hell is this big? Everyone just saw me walk up to this meeting. So you guys can't kill me because you're going to be caught because everyone knows I walked up here.
And a limousine driver.
So there's my opinion. It's a little funny to me that Joe Watts wasn't arrested with the rest of them, and he never was in any meetings upstairs. Because you can't tell the boss, no, hey, go get Joe. I got to talk to him. Bring him up. No, John, not coming up. Really?
No, I don't know.
Okay. I forgot that you're on the 5th. I forgot. You're on the 5th right now. Okay.
Yeah, I knew Charlie LeCastri. Yep. Flex asked that question. I threw one out there. Good family. Charlie's father goes back and his grandfather goes back. Good people.
Jeff Nadeau, did you ever meet Joe Paterno from New Jersey?
Now I know what your next show is going to be about, Jeff. No, but had a great reputation for sure, 100%. He was a powerhouse.
Did anybody from the Rizzuto family in Montreal? Did you know anybody from the Rizzuto family? They were more powerful than all 5 families.
Knew of, but didn't know personally. No.
Many Sicilians believe that the commission outlawed drugs to eliminate competition. French Connection in the 60s plus Pizza Connection in 70s and 80s appeared 5 and okay.
David Price, it's a good theory, because there was still drug dealing going on at the highest levels within certain factions of the family that were overlooked 100%. That could be a good theory. Eliminate the competition from everybody below you. Yeah, it could be. Never heard that one before. Pretty good.
Why didn't you like the actor Tony Sirico?
That's easy. One of the shows I did see or 2 in a row, was about a scene where mob guys' wives, bosses' wives, were like hitting on a priest. And Tony, being from the neighborhood and being Italian, he should have voiced his opinion not to have that happen. What are you trying to say about guy? Don't forget, I'm talking about when I was in the life, even outside the life. But I'm talking about when I was in the life. I took an exception to that because what do you say? All our wives are sluts. That we want to hit on a priest. So I took an offense to that. That's why I was mad, because he should have stopped it. Matter of fact, at the time I said, if anybody sees him in the neighborhood, bring him to the restaurant. I'll talk to him. Because the guy who produced that show, David Chase, is Italian. I guess he didn't like being Italian because he changed his name. But why would he want to institute that in the show? It bothered me.
What's your opinion on Joey D'Angelo?
Love him. Great guy. Great man. Really is. Quiet, low key, always was till today. Goes about his business. Never wanted anything more than anybody would ask him. That's it. Joey was a good guy, good man. Do anything from making concrete for the front of your house, your sidewalk, or to go kill somebody, shoot somebody in the head, and just go about his business. Good man. You hungry? My cat's eating.
RJ's got a good point. Where was Joe Watts? That's a good let's see here. Did you ever do any business with the Los Angeles family?
Yes. Yeah, sure. Pete Milano. Yep.
Michael, I asked this to someone. Answer was half-assed. With the state of today's mob, is it safe to say Paul Castellano was generations ahead of his time? Business first, legit businesses. Go.
Well, Vinny, who's the half-assed guy that half-assed answered you? See if you could put that in there. I'm curious as to who it was, because I want to know if it's a street guy, content maker, and if it's a street guy, content makers are allowed to have their opinion in any area. But if it's a street guy, I'd like to know what their opinion was of Paul. He wasn't a generation ahead of himself, ahead of his time. He was business first. He did have a legitimate business. So did a lot of other people in that life going way back. Had a lot of legitimate business. Joe Banana had cheese businesses, many different businesses. But Paul allowed drug dealing to go on. Paul killed drug dealers. So he was not ahead of his time.
Yeah, I talk about that a little bit in my book, that you can't make a alley, a roughneck street guy and then tell him to go start a business. You gotta come, speak the language of the soldiers, how I write it in my book. You gotta meet them at their level. Now you don't fill a family with blue collar guys and ask them to be white collar. No, you got to make the family centric to what you're bringing in. If you want business guys, you shouldn't be making having the Westies do work for you. You shouldn't have Roy DeMayo when them. You shouldn't have, you just have to fill the family with what you want to be. And even if you wanted to go a different direction, you still got 180 guys here who are not trying to open up a butcher shop and cut meat all day.
Yeah, it's a very good point, because look, you're in the street as a kid. You were fighting in the street. You had to belong to some kind of gang. You had to be violent, right? You come up with some guys go into the bookmaking Charlotte business, right? Some guys gambled. A lot of guys gambled. A lot of guys got in trouble gambling. Guys were out drinking. Young guys go out to bars. A lot of guys were snorting cocaine in the 80s and the 90s. Guys were drinking before that. You got to tell a guy, what, go home at 9 o'clock at night if you close your butcher shop? This is what street people do. They're in the street. They do things like that. They go out and drink. They stay out all night drinking. They chase girls. They gamble. They get in trouble gambling. They come up lame. They can't pay. They go see Shylock's, all Shylock's money. I'm not saying everybody, but this is part of the makeup of a street person. You're dealing with criminals. You're not dealing with somebody who wants to join the priesthood. So what do you expect the byproduct that is going to be? All right, stop what you're doing, like RJ just said. Why did you open up a butcher shop and go home to your wife? Look how he turned out. He was screwing his mate. Holier than thou mentality. So it's all hypocrisy with Paul. I liked him as a boss. He was Sicilian. My family goes back probably 150 years with him and his families, his grandfather. But and the respect was there and the deference was shown. But still, when you look at it as things were going on, it's just a major hypocrisy with Paul. The guy's worth hundreds of millions of dollars legitimately. Meanwhile, guys were starving in the street and he was getting mad at them for drinking all night in a bar or gambling and being in trouble. So what?
Don Maranzano studied in the seminary, went to join the priesthood, and had crosses all over his house, and used to pray at night before they went to kill the next morning.
Yeah. That's right. What do you burn when in your hand?
Saint.
Saint.
You will burn in hell like the saint if you betray this brotherhood.
Guilt. Yep.
Yeah. Isn't it crazy though when you think about that with Maranzano and Bonanno when they were sitting in the living room and he's telling Joe, like, Joe, we have to be careful not to kill innocent people. It's very important. He was very worried about innocent people dying, people who were outside the life. He was so worried about the wrong people being killed. Isn't that really something? He had a whole living room full of guns and he was oiling them up and wiping them down and telling Joe, like, he doesn't want anything. He don't want no innocent people to die.
Well, I think it was going back to the 20s when Dutch Schultz was around. I think it was Mad Dog Cole, one of those guys. They killed somebody in Harlem. They machine gunned, I think, somebody. They were trying to get somebody. They killed a kid. And I think Dewey was the governor at that time.
Thomas E. Dewey? Thomas Dewey, yeah, he was.
He went hell-bent after the mob. He killed an innocent kid. So do you really think he's worried about killing somebody innocent? No, he's worried about his own ass. Don't kill somebody innocent because the fire's going to hit us.
Is that what you think?
It's selfish. Don't believe all this bullshit.
Sounds good, though. I like the good Hollywood lie, the good Hollywood story.
Yeah, I get it. You don't want to kill anybody innocent, and you're not supposed to. You're supposed to pass. I agree to that. But did they really kill it, or was it more self-preservation? Like the don't deal drugs rule for everybody. So it's bullshit.
So Maranzano didn't give a shit about an innocent person getting hit. It's just, I don't want to get the heat on me.
Yeah.
See, I was giving him the benefit of the doubt as an honorable street guy who cared about God and innocent lives. You took it from me. Now I'm back to my old philosophy. Michael, where's that drink you promised to have with me? We're deep in the show.
Later on the show. I got to have it.
Well, hour and 15 minutes in. We'll be closing here soon.
No, we got a lot of questions here.
I got 300 questions here. We're never going to get to all of them. So when are you going to do a drink with me?
Shortly. Let's see. Let's get to some more. I'm on a roll right now.
if Paul told Gotti he wasn't going to kill his crew, do you think they would have killed him still?
Well, nobody said they're going to kill his crew. I don't think there was any message from Paul to John and Neil, I'm killing the crew. That's not the way it happens. You're not going to warn a whole bunch of murderers, oh, we're going to kill you. It was assumed that something may happen.
Now, and again, I'm just sharing the context of the information. Sammy talked about this, and it's in Sammy's book where he talked about how there was rumors in the street and stuff about when Neil goes, Paul's going to break Gotti and put his whole crew on the shelf and stuff like that, just bust the whole crew down and break them up or something to that effect. Now, considering that they did get busted, you know, Paul sent John around with the edict on drugs and stuff, so we know how he felt about drugs. You know, you're caught on tape. Knowing it wouldn't seem completely outlandish to think that, I don't know that Paul would have killed him, but would he have busted Gotti down to a soldier from captain and broke the crew up or put some guys on the shelf, you think, possibly?
Yeah, that could happen. Well, the shelf is there for a reason, I guess. You know, it's not usually it is today. Today you got 3 shelves, but then there was a shelf, and if John would have been broken down, I don't think that would have been much of a punishment at all. Yeah, for the crew at that time, sure, as long as nobody don't get killed. But that could be changed. Paul had 2-3 cases going on, and he was getting convicted. So all the dynamic would have changed.
Did you, just hypothetically speaking, Neil dies. What do you think Paul would have did with John?
What do I think he would have done with him? Nothing. I don't think he would ever made a move on John. But again, Paul's never coming home. There's hypotheticals are real tough to answer because there's so many different. Neil dies. John's but
you got Paul's people there. Tommy Biglotti's up in the administration. You got his people. What happens with John? How does John coexist with Neil not being there? How does John exist with these people?
No, it's the other way around. How does the guys in the street cope with John being there? Everybody knew he was the heir apparent. He was coming. So, some bad things would have happened. I'm not saying good things would have happened, but bad things could have happened.
And you make a good point because, like you said, who's going to kill me? Me. John had all the powerful people in the family with him. So it really wasn't about, I see you. Okay, I got you now. It really wasn't, what are they going to do about John? It's, then what's John going to do about them? It's what are they going to do about John? Because John had the Chico and all the real muscle in the family.
Don't forget the Bronx faction.
Yeah.
Who's another guy that was very religious was Joe Papaci.
Yeah,
if you go to Regina Paci's church, there's pictures on the ceiling. It's been there for decades.
RJ's flip-flopping. Thinkers are the biggest flip-floppers, They change their opinion because they keep taking in more information.
Correct. That's not a flip-flopper.
You have to be proud to change your opinion.
Right.
Lack of intelligence is a person who holds to a strong opinion and can never move off of it. You should be proud to be able to evolve on an opinion.
That's what debate is all about, right?
There you go. I've changed Michael's mind a lot, right, Michael? Or no?
Yeah. I like you. You changed my mind.
Okay.
You're my brother.
Guys, Michael's baptizing me soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People think you're kidding around. This is true because of Sammy.
No, it really is true. Michael's baptizing. That's no joke. That's no joke at all. So, let's see. I agree. Where the hell is that drink, Michael? I'm on vacation for a whole week.
Let me guess. He's either put that name again. It's either Scottish. You're either Scot or you're English. Let's see. Put that name back in. Or Irish. Killian. I can't see without my glasses. Where you from? Killeen, hip hop. Killeen has to be a town, a city, right?
No, Michael, you're the first person I heard talk about this, and I never thought about it, but it makes perfect sense as soon as you say it. Why wouldn't Angelo give Paul the tapes? Now, you have an opinion on the... Go ahead, I'll let you talk.
Well, look, when somebody gets arrested, it's something called discovery. and some of them they usually use at bail hearings to detain people. Those tapes were very available. I should not rely available to every defense attorney in that case. Now, defense attorneys talked to other defense attorneys, and Paul had probably the best lawyers in the country at that time. If he wanted to get the tapes at one time, he could have got them, which he did later on. He did get the tapes. So, and don't forget, this starts in 83 until when he gets killed in 85, 2 years ago. There's a long time that goes by. So, and Paul had these cases, and there was a lot of investigations, and other people get murdered in the family. Roy gets killed, I think, in 83 also. 83. So a lot of things, a lot of dynamics are happening. But the thing about Angelo not giving the tapes up, I think it was just him not turning them over because Paul could have got the tapes at any time.
El Prophet, at that point, the whole clan is behind John. And we did a whole video on that, and Michael broke it down surgically. He showed what crews had the might and who was with John. And you're right, there was Paul had to worry about Neil dying. John didn't have to worry about Neil dying. So Michael brought me down the lane on that one for sure. So, which is
real quick. Somebody asked about scars from the street. No, this is from a dog bite. I didn't get my name for any street violence. It was from a dog when I was young.
Interesting. You said no one ever called you Mikey Scars to your face, right?
Yeah,
Ever. Never.
No.
Yeah. But nobody, and again, I know the answer, but I'm asking for them. People ain't called these nicknames in the street. It's away from you, you're called these names.
Yeah, it's a reference point. Look, how many Michaels, Anthonys, Vinnies are there in the street? So it's like Joe DiMaggio. He was called the Yankee Clipper. People attached names. Babe Ruth was called the Babe. George Herman Ruth. The nicknames I guess something where you attach to somebody to make them a little higher in stature or recognize them. In my neighborhood and all over New York, most people had a nickname. Sometimes it played off their last name.
Yeah, imagine going up
didn't have a nickname. John Gotti didn't have a nickname. No, was his name? John Gotti. He didn't have a nickname.
I'm sure Bobby Borriello at some point, when he pulled up on the horse or something, said, "What's up, Teflon Don?" Someone had to make a joke with the Teflon Don thing.
None of that stuff. No. That was
because he was out in the street when Teflon Don hit.
Yeah, that was not.
Oh, you got to break it. You guys are too serious.
Where's John? No, we weren't serious. We acted silly a lot.
Could you imagine?
A lot of serious guys, you would think, acted serious. That was serious, acted silly.
Yeah. You always think about some of the names. Like imagine walking up to Giuseppe Morello and saying, "Hey, clutch hand." Could you imagine? He'd kill you probably. Or Three Finger Brown for Tommy Lucchese. Could you imagine someone going up to him calling him Three Finger Brown?
Yeah. How about Chin? You don't want nobody calling him Chin. He got mad.
Yeah.
Cigar guy, who's more fair, Albert or Gaspipe? That's a tie.
Let's see here. All right. Trying to get some people who don't really. The government. Okay. Does the government take away your money when indicted, or only come to lock you up?
No, there's a forfeiture and a seizure procedure that they have if they're going to go after your house or any holdings that you have. There's a process. They can't just do it right away. There's a process that they could seize it or put a list pendants on it. Like they did that with me, with my property, and I wasn't even arrested. They put a list pendants on it. So that means you can't, it's mine, but I can't sell it. Which the government wound up taking later on anyway. 51 acres upstate.
Why did Jimmy Brown clip his adopted son?
And the kid was wild. He was nuts. We did a show on Patreon about that. We did some of it. Some newspaper. If you type his name in, you may find some stuff on the internet about that. He was a very bad kid. He wasn't normal. He had something wrong. He needed this temper shot, not being cold and callous, But Jimmy's wife was scared to death. He used to hit her, and a lot of bad things. So I don't think he had a choice. This kid would have killed somebody for sure. He might have killed Jimmy or his wife. He was nuts. I met him. I knew him.
Why do you think his wife stayed with him? I think he's talking about Sammy.
She probably loves him.
She does love him, actually. That's why you stay.
Or fear. Or fear factor. Or both.
Did you know Tony Mera?
No. Heard of him, but then no. Never met him, I don't think.
What was the hardest part about being a captain in the Gambino family?
What is the hard? Being responsible for a lot of people. Be responsible for certain things. Because you have to be accountable. And one incident was when Frank Parasol was murdered. It was a hard thing to bring to Junior. The guys who did it were around my brother-in-law Frankie, who was with me. And a major infraction. The guy died. He was murdered without permission or for no reason. The guy never. You could come from permission all day long. To kill that guy never was going to happen. There was no reason to kill him. It was an accident, stupid accident. But that's bringing that. And just I'll add into that. When I brought that to Junior, we were trying to deal with it, and I told Junior to take me down from the captain because Frankie was my responsibility. I said, take me down. You got to show the rest of the family that there has to be a punishment here for major infraction. And he says, I'm not going to punish you. I'm going to punish your brother-in-law. I'm going to put him with Georgie DiChico. I said, what? That's giving him vacation. And he put him, I think, we're back with Big Louie.
All right, we're getting up to almost an hour and a half. We'll ask a few more guys, and then we'll let you guys go. Michael, who was the most prolific actor shooter in the Gotti crew? Lino, Watts, or Borriello?
None of them.
Come on, Michael. The story about Joe Watts with I love that story with
He wasn't in his crew. That's one.
Who was the most? Oh, in the Gotti crew. I got you. Okay. Borriello.
No, I'm going to take the fifth again.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Let's see. Did Michael hear that Vincent Mangano made Nicola Gentile acting underboss?
With two Agrigento-based crews along Manhattan, up as Domenico Ocori, Steve Armon regime, the regimes, no regimes, the regimes for the movies in the 30s. That I don't know. I didn't hear that from any of the old timers that I know. No direct info from that from me for me. But they were great. Ucho Megiddo was a great guy, very loved. Again, go way back in time. And Steve Armon, guy who shot Albert. So I don't know. I can't answer that.
What did you say about regimes? About
no such thing.
You said regimes from what?
It's in the movies.
Oh.
See, what happened was that when they started listening to tapes or Americanized guys in those days, they didn't understand regime. They thought it was regime when they listened to tapes. Look at the Magadino tapes. You could see there's a difference to where they transcribe and what they're saying. You know, I pick up some of the nuances there because of the broken English with some guys, you know.
Yeah, and guys pick it up. You're right. Because Joe Valachi testified to regime, capo regime with an R. But you're right. Even like John is the most, like this La Cosa Nostra thing never existed. LCN is not a real thing. I always tell people that. But even guys in the street started saying La Cosa Nostra, but they were just misreading tapes when like A Cosa Nostra. They were reading it like La Cosa Nostra. Even when John was talking, you were saying before, it's not La Cosa Nostra. There's no such thing as La Cosa Nostra. It's not a real thing.
Yeah, La means the.
Yeah.
So a lot of guys go
Even if you're trying to break it down, doesn't even make translation sense. The our thing or this thing of ours or something. It wouldn't even translate right. So it's no LCN. at all. It doesn't even, it never was a real thing. It just was the transcripts being written by people who don't know anything about what they were investigating.
True.
So yeah. All right, let's see here. Jennifer Mize, why didn't Sammy have to say where he buried the bodies? That's a good question.
Well, most of those bodies he does not know. He did not know where Louis Melito was buried. That was other people took. Joe Watts and the rest of those guys took those bodies. Frankie LaCassia took another one. Spinelli, the same thing. There was another Joe Watts. He took that body. He did not know. The only body he knew where was buried was his brother-in-law, I believe.
Final question, Michael. Did your opinion of anyone specifically change after you were made? And if so, who and how?
Yeah, I'll answer the first part. If who and how, email me and I'll think about it. Because you're talking about little change or major change. There was major changes, guys. Oh yeah, but absolutely they changed. Sure. When you sit down, I'll give you one. Tony Graziano, right? Banana guy, skipper there, very close with Joe Massino. Got a guy like George from Canada killed because George told the truth and Joe didn't want to hear it. He wanted to protect TG. He was a liar. TG lied all the time in beefs. So he's one of them. There were several other guys just sit down and lie. Yeah. So they disappoint you in the life when they're lying right to your face.
I'm going to ask two more questions because they paid for them. Even though we said no super chats, guys, don't send us super chats. Join Patreon. Has Michael ever heard of someone making a shank out of a still Italian bread?
I tell you, when I can make it, you make Modrigo out of it. You make breadcrumbs. And no, stale Italian bread's pretty good. You have it. You take it the next day in your coffee. You get like a little bowl. You put coffee on there with some sugar and eat it like that. It's delicious.
Did Paul really have no clue he was going to be killed? Was he naive to it or just arrogant, thinking nobody would dare? That's
all fair. Of the above. Absolutely. Yeah. Plus, he had the cases. There was a lot of FBI around, a lot of law enforcement. He was with his lawyer a lot, in and out of courts. He got real comfortable, and if the rumor was that he was going to kill John et al., would he be that lax? Well, who thinks he's going to get killed in the middle of Manhattan? I mean, it's just a little.
A lot of time had went by where bosses really weren't getting, like, I think was Anastasia the last New York boss before Paul that was killed?
Joe Colombo,
Colombo, yeah.
We don't know who did that.
Yeah, but it wasn't as, I don't know, that had kind of slowed down with bosses. It wasn't like the
Joe Bruno. When did he get killed? 81, 80, 70s, 70s.
Yeah, I guess that's
those guys got killed.
Yeah. That was fun. Tom, you have to send your email in to get your book. I already signed it. Has your name written inside of it. But I need your email.
Let me live up to my obligation, all right?
I wasn't going to ask again. I was going to see if you'll be a man of your word. Tom, email MD, like Michael DiLeonardo, no excuses, name of the show, MD, no excuses, @gmail.com. And I'll ship you a book. This is a great book, guys. I mean, come on, guys. Look at this shit, man. This is beautiful. Look, this is a real, this book is produced by Joost Elfers, top agent, top producer in the whole world. He published the 48 Laws of Power, all kind of great books. I mean, look at this thing. Look at this end paper. This is like a freaking coffee table book. Look at that. Michael's drinking Kettle One. Michael, I Googled you, and it says you're worth $100 million, and you're drinking Kettle One.
Let me ask you something. That's all they say?
$100 million.
You better correct that. Fix that.
Just saying, it has you listed for $100 million as your net worth.
I feel like a hobo. That's not right. Who dealt me that injustice?
I don't know where this stuff comes from. I was getting ready to say, Michael, $100 million. Boy, oh boy. Like, retired me early. I don't know what this is. It's some kind of like McLean's blended Scotch whiskey. All right,
Yeah,
I'm just gonna
I think you clean rims, hubcaps. I think you clean a lot of stuff with that. You can smell
all right,
that.
all right, my brother. Tap your camera. I love you, brother.
I love you too. That's
I'll
right.
be seeing you.
Thank you,
I'll be
everybody,
seeing
for being here. God
I'll be
bless.
seeing you soon.
You got it. Thank you for being here. We'll do another one. Did you have fun here, RJ, today?
No, this was a good one. There was no trolls. There was no attacks. There was no everything. Everyone was respectful. It was great. A lot of people showed up too. There was like almost 500 people in the chat.
Oh, very good.
So
Paul was gluttonous. I love that word. Catholica. That was a good word. Gluttonous. Yes, he was.
oh, this one. Let me ask you this one more thing because this guy asked a few times. Mark Caputo.
Colombo, one more thing.
Mark Caputo.
Yeah.
You any thoughts on his show on him?
What was he asking?
Jimmy, Mark Caputo's co-host said he was in the car when John and Willie went to see Neil. John came out fuming about how Paul wanted to kill his brother. And someone else asked about Caputo also. And this, what's your thoughts on Mark Caputo? So you can maybe tie it all together.
Let me see if I get this right. Somebody that knows Mark Caputo or Mark Caputo's co-host, right?
Yeah.
Jimmy said he was in the car with John when he took him to see Paul, if I get this right. And Paul told John to kill Jeannie. I got that right. I think he works for Sammy, Jimmy. No, I'm not being. Never heard it. Ever. Never. Nobody's ever heard it. Not only Michael. Nobody's ever heard that before.
Yeah, I haven't got to watch much of Mark's show, but people seem to like it.
If Paul told that to John into his face, kill your brother, John would have bit the nose right off his face, even though he had a big nose. He would have bit the nose right off his face. No joke. John would have beat the shit out of him. But the next day, there would have been a lot of bodies in the street. I can't even answer somebody's question. I answer your question. I appreciate you coming on and answering it. It's not about you. You're just moving information that you heard. And some of these things are just so crazy.
There's another one that John's favorite restaurant was Cracker Barrel. I think
favorite restaurant is Cracker Barrel?
I heard that somewhere. I'm not saying it's true. I mean, John Gotti going to Cracker Barrel.
Maybe you like Cracker Barrel. I never heard it before.
He only ever wanted a good tuna sandwich. It is believable.
John ate in the fanciest restaurants. When I went to diners with John at 5, 6, and 7 in the morning, and we had hamburgers and French fries, disco fries. So
you know the biggest
John eat anything. He didn't have that. He didn't have a fancy ass. He dressed great. Loved the life. Loved a good life. But see what you just said. Say that one more time.
A good tuna sandwich.
Where did he say that?
Above the Raven Light. So you see this sandwich right here? This is all I want. A good sandwich. A good tuna sandwich.
That's it.
Hold on. I got no big mansion needs. If I want to be a selfish boss, I would be a selfish boss. I just want a good tuna sandwich. That's what he said.
Yep. And that's true. You could eat the best meal that it could be afforded, or have that tuna fish sandwich, or eating Cracker Barrel for itself. I didn't hear that, but I'm not saying it's not true. I'm just saying it's possible.
I wish that the lady who owned the shoe store they used the Ravenite. She's not there no more. It got sold. It's not even a shoe store no more, I don't think. But somebody one day, if she won't do it, I've talked to her for over an hour before, but I wish she could be on someone's show and talk about this stuff. She said if all the freaking people came in here that wanted to talk about John Gotti, bought a damn shoe, she would have no problems in life. She said they would just come in, take pictures, break her floor, do all this stuff. But she asked me, she's like, what is it? She said, I don't, and she's Greek, but people thought she was Italian. And she said, what is it about this guy and stuff? She said people will come in and kiss the floor and stuff. And like, she didn't understand why people like loved him so much. She didn't understand it. She didn't know him or anything like that. But I always say, I think for the people who were around John, it's stuff like that you connect with. Just be like you said about the Salisbury steak. He made them flush it when they were in jail. He said, we all eat steak or nobody eats steak. That kind of stuff makes you feel a certain love for a person, things like that.
Yeah, that was John, 100%.
But he shouldn't have flushed the damn steak. Take a vote. Who's getting the steak today, guys?
Nope. Somebody posted about the Country Club Diner. Yes, you're right. Many meetings were held there. Joe Watts loved that place. Loved that spot. A lot of guys did.
Me and Michael went to Joe Watts' favorite spot.
Yeah, we're going to do it again.
We went to, what's it called? 1 by Land, 2 by Sea?
Yeah, great spot. Anybody that's in that area, you live in that Connecticut, New Jersey, Pennsy area, of course, New York, go to 1 by Land, 2 by Sea. Legendary place. Has been there. That building's been there since George Washington. No joke. Legendary spot. Great food. Very romantic. I didn't go there for romance. We had business, and I said, "Come on, let me take you to Joe Watts' place."
It was very nice.
It is his place. He don't own it, but he introduced me to that place. Great spot. Go Valentine's Day or Christmas. Fantastic.
Let's see if I have our picture from when me and you went there. That was a good. I don't have it on here. I thought I had it, but yeah. Michael and I went there. He's like, that was Joe Watts. We can sit right there at that table. So, all right, brother. I'll be seeing you soon. Let's see.
Maybe we could squeeze one more live on here. Give everybody a treat. Listen, go over to Patreon. If you're still on here and you haven't been on Patreon, go there. You'll like it. There's a lot of good stuff there, plus the rest of the tapes.
Yeah, guys, we do 2 shows a week on Patreon. We do 8 shows a month. We're very interactive. We make a lot of phone calls. There's no price. We don't call. You don't gotta send no money over. We call. We've met so many people. I've made so many friends by guys who I've really become close with. But Patreon's a real good community. People get along well. People have made friends. We have these chats on there where people talk all day. We help promote people's businesses. We do a lot of stuff on there. We do meet and greets all the time. Where it don't cost you nothing. When you have a drink, it's paid. When you have a food, a burger or something, it's paid for. You don't pay a dime. All you gotta do is show up and get there. All the food, all the drinks, and I mean, you did most of the meet and greets, which is even better because you're the star of the show. But I've done 4 or 5, or 3. I don't know how many we did. But you probably did what, 20? More?
I got one Wednesday.
Yeah. So Michael really does drive to meet up with people to the point he even makes me mad sometimes. I'm like, Michael, we don't even know who this guy is. He's new. He's been here for but he goes and meets everybody. So join us on Patreon. You will not regret it. It's really great. So, all right, brother, close it out.
Well, thank you for being here, everybody, taking your time out to sit with us. I hope you enjoyed this. Remember a couple of things. Stay close to your families, keep smiling, and there's no guarantee for tomorrow because I just lost a friend. I reconnected him after 40 years. He reached out, and we had a phone call. The next day, he died. Very sad. I didn't get a chance to meet him, but at least we got a chance to speak. So you don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. Enjoy life. Stay close to your families. God bless. Stay well.